understanding how money moves as an entrepreneur was important to me going to the continent. I wanted to know that it was where I came from, but then I also wanted to know how to operate, how to live as an African, how to be in Africa, because it's not a jungle. Then one of the things I ask people like, hey, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Africa? How does that make your sweet, awesome baby? Well, she stands next to her colleague who's a white Caucasian, and she's proud to be a Norwegian. She's proud to be a French girl, and people get a sense of pride. And then you say, I am an original African. Look at my black skin. And people say, oh man, you come from, oh wow, I don't want to be proud of that. And so then when I come home and I see babies like Ashley who are beautiful, who are black, who don't know that there's a whole continent of girls who look just like her. So she don't even have to compete to be beautiful. She doesn't have to think about her image because the image is beauty. You don't have to see here, we have to create an image for black women because we're not the standard. In Africa, the black woman is the standard. So our children feel differently about each other, about themselves.
Hey entrepreneurs, it is Connie S and the S is for Systems. We are here today with my beautiful, brilliant, kind friend. We're going to call her a guest for today, but she's really my friend, Miss Quinetha Frasier. Hey girl.
Hello.
Tell us
and
about
it's
you.
so wonderful to see you. Connie, thank you for calling me a guest because I am a friend guest. And you know that I've spent all of my life raising money for the good. I'm a fundraiser, a rainmaker for the good. And that's why I'm so blessed to be on the show, because my life as a fundraiser depends on systems. And those systems, I'm here to talk to you and, girl, share with you the love I found in Africa, because my life has led me there.
And that's what I need to hear all parts of that, because we was in Atlanta having a great time and then you were like, yeah, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm in Africa. I done left this little tired continent over here and I done gone back to the motherland. What prompted the move?
Well, to be honest, all of us have curiosity about Africa because you're black and you're in America. And I'm 𝘂𝘶𝑦, Gullah 𝘂𝘶𝑦. And for most people, black people, when we were growing up, that was not a good term. We are the black people that settled on the eastern seaboard of the US, probably the original descendants of the African enslaved that were brought here. So I grew up knowing, that I was definitely blacker than everybody. I mean, literally in school, like, why are you so black? Girl, where you come from? Literally, that's the way we talk to each other. Yeah. And growing up as a woman, confident, because our community is very confident. However, I didn't understand what the African meant in African American. I know I'm African American because I'm American. But what does it mean to be African? I had no idea. So I took my boots as a broke traveler. I said, I got to go to Africa. And a client of mine who I set up a nonprofit for, I've been forming nonprofits, setting up, doing all the paperwork. Well, this brother wanted to set up a nonprofit in Senegal, where he was from, to support sports, kids in sports, but he wanted to raise money on the US. And the way that you do that, if you have a heart for Africa, you're going to have to raise money in the US, and the IRS will allow you to do that. So I set it up for him, and it's his way of thanking me. He said, hey, whenever you're ready to come to Africa, hey, I'll hook it up for you. My family will receive you. Well, fast forward in 2018, I went to Senegal. I spoke 0 African languages. I spoke 0% French, which, Senegal is a French-speaking country. And I stayed for 14 days. And they told me it wasn't long enough. And I went through the craziest culture shock I had in my life. And Connie, when I landed from the culture shock, I had a sense of peace that I had never experienced in the US. And the peace came from standing on a street and literally looking as far as I could see, 2 miles, maybe a mile down the road, and there were black people everywhere. And I felt safe. I had no anxiety of, do I look the right way? Are people looking at me because I'm darker? When I didn't have that feeling. So something was planted in me that said there's something different about the continent. Because you think, okay, it's just another place, yeah? Right. So I came back home. And I immediately longed to go to Ghana, because at the time it was the year of return. Hey, everybody should go back home. And girl, my mom and my dad were like, what you going back to? What's in Africa? What's there? I mean, the people are poor. I mean, the images we have, there's violence in the street. So for me, immediately, just being an adult who can now save my little pennies and go to Africa, I had to immediately make a decision that, are you going just to be a visitor? You just going to go? Or am I going to really uncover my own curiosity about being this black African living in America? So girl, I'll just start at Ghana was good to me. It was sweet. The people are sweet. Everybody looks like my cousin. I did find, people who have an enormous amount of talent to do any daggum thing, but very little resources. Much like what I saw in Adams Run, South Carolina, where I'm from. Beautiful Black people. Oh, everywhere. Oh, we can do anything. You can build anything. You can grow anything. You can speak. But then there's not a door for you to get out. See, where I'm from, you good if you own 1 acre of land. You're good if you leave and get a job, making 6 figures. That's a big freaking deal in my community. So when you go to Ghana and I see these kids go to school, they up at 6 a.m., they stay at school till 6 p.m. The teachers, literally that's their school day. The teachers work every day. And then at the end of the month, they may not get paid. See, for me, I thought, wow, this looks a lot like home. My mama can work. She can, go work at the hotel, clean houses all day and come home and still not be able to pay the rent. So for me, that's what kept me going. So after I left Ghana and then my then boyfriend started a company there, for me, and we'll get to this because this is a systems show, understanding how money moves as an entrepreneur was important to me going to the continent. It wasn't just, let me go out here and see if I can have a good time. Yeah. I wanted to go. I wanted to know that it was where I came from, but then I also wanted to know how to operate, how to live as an African, how to be in Africa. Because it's not a jungle. Girl, I'll just stop right there. It's not a jungle.
That's what they try and tell us.
That's what the people say.
I mean, I'm a little old, so back in my day, we used to turn the TV on and they would be like, for 3 cents, you can feed a starving African.
The one with the big belly.
And the
with
flies.
the flies.
You gotta have the flies. I feel like they were unleashing flies right in front of them. As soon as the camera on, flies. And that's what we grew up thinking Africa was.
Literally. Yeah. And more than that, let me get to the real reason why I decided in 2002 to give up my beautiful home in Hapeville. Yeah. To move my practice partially from the US to Africa. It was what I began seeing when I got to compare, when I come home and I compare our children and the way that they're talking about themselves and the way that I see children in African countries talking about themselves. See, when we reflect, and one of the things I ask people, like, hey, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Africa? Like, what's the first image? Like you said, flies.
Immediately.
Heat. It's hot. Mosquitoes.
Poverty.
Yeah. Oh, see these images. How does that make your sweet, awesome baby? How does that make her feel? Yeah. When she stands next to her colleague who's a white Caucasian, and she's proud to be a Norwegian. She's proud to be a French girl. Her grandfather's from Sweden and all these wonderful European places. Oh, we're Italian. And people get a sense of pride. And then you say, I am an original African. Look at my black skin. And people say, oh man, you come from, oh wow. I don't want to be proud of that. And so then when I come home and I see babies like Ashley who are beautiful, who are black, who don't know that there's a whole continent of girls who look just like her. So she don't even have to compete to be beautiful. She doesn't have to think about her image because the image is black woman. The image is beauty. See, you don't have to see here. We have to create an image for black women because we're not the standard. In Africa, the black woman is the standard. So our children feel differently about each other, about themselves.
So when we're thinking of the children, because I love that example, because I don't think I grew up thinking like, oh my God, black is beautiful, black is proud, and I'm from California also. So that I just didn't have that ownership of it. And I really didn't have that until we were doing
That's
I had to go over there to go deal with the Nigerians when we were in London.
Yep.
And they were like, why don't you come home? And I was like, what do you mean? I don't even know anybody over there.
Right.
And she said, and it was 𝘠𝘕𝑚, and she said, if you have a beautiful daughter. I was like, yeah. She said, so if somebody took your daughter in the night, took her to another continent, they raped, they beat, they abused, they killed, the people that were supposed to protect her, the police officers, were one of the number one, like all of these things that could happen to your child.
Yeah.
And she grew up there in all that pain. And then one day they said, you're free. And she decided to stay. That's what y'all are doing. When we look at you, we're like, why don't you come home?
Ooh,
because
so
they
powerful.
freed you and you can leave and you can come back home. Africa is your mother. And I was like, that changed my mindset altogether.
That is so powerful. that illustration really speaks to the heart, well, what I've received as an invitation from most Kenyans. I mean, I live in Nairobi, Kenya, which is in East Africa. I felt that in Ghana, in West Africa, but I really feel what you're saying. Why don't you come back home? Yeah, there is goodness here. So before I get there, I kind of want to get to something you said around her being here, going through those traumatic experiences, but then someone says you're free. Yeah. So I spent most of my career, Connie, raising money. So that means, doing the bidding for organizations who are looking to create programs and projects to benefit Black people, to be honest. I mean, poor people, under-resourced, underprivileged, whatever, Black people, yeah. So in my role as negotiating and writing proposals and talking to foundations about the value, like why we need these resources so that we can expand and grow and invest. What I have come to know is that many of us, talk about Black people now, we've received the benefit from a lot of these things. Our parents put us through good schools, Albany State, Tuskegee. Some of us, went to Ivy League schools. We've graduated, done the six-figure corporate job. Some of us now have, benefited from being entrepreneurs. And we, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, as a community of Black Americans, and in this illustration you said, like, we've been here, we've gone through this trauma here. We're experiencing a sense of freedom, but we are what my great-grandmama used to call free till we fool. Yeah. Free till you fool in the 𝗤𝘄𝗄 community means you have freedom, but you are using it in a careless way. Yeah. So for me, here, my burden for Black Americans, and I'm one, I'm talking to myself. I ain't talking about nobody else except myself. I am a rich Black American. We all rich Black Americans. And my responsibility is, I don't owe anybody anything in Africa, but I owe it to myself. You see? How did I get here? How did I get to this place of success where I can use my freedom however I want? And yet, I can't answer a simple question. How did I get here? Yeah. How did my grandmama get from Adams Run, South Carolina, to me living in Nairobi? How does that happen? How do I become this rich Black American that can do it just like that? So Connie, what my career of raising resources to build things, to do things, it's convinced me of how rich we really are. And then when I go to Kenya and I see the richness of the people without the access to gain the richness that we've been able to achieve through our trauma, I know it's possible. Because if we can build a country in the US in the traumatic circumstances we have, we surely can go home and do the same thing.
Somebody book my flight. Somebody grab my phone and book my flight immediately. Yes. And I think the fear, because again, you have all of this deep-rooted thoughts of what it has been, and one of the great parts of social media now is that they're like, yeah, we know you thought you saw the flies, but this is actually what it looks like. It's actually kind of nice over here. Now, there are some places that are ghetto, but it's also ghetto here.
Everywhere.
Yeah, and that's why when I went over there, they were
you
like,
knew that.
Yeah, because it's unsafe in the United States.
Girl.
My mother, I told her that I was going to meet with an American, and she was like, be careful, because on the Housewives, they're always disrespectful to their men, and they throw drinks in their faces. So they were so protective.
Yep.
Because they were like, we know what American culture is. You guys are mean, and the women are ghetto.
And you're godless. And I had my intern told me, who I've been working with for 4 years, like through college. He finally one day, I said something like, thank God, or I was giving him encouragement. And he said, I didn't think Americans even thought about any faith. He said, I didn't realize you all had faith, Black Americans. I thought, how the heck you think we made it through 400 years of oppression with no faith? And I see what we're talking about, Connie, this fear, it's not of our own. It's from a system. And my mama told me to stop saying white people because I love white people and I have lots of white friends. I'm not saying white as a person. Right. I'm saying as a system of people who've said that Black is one thing and white is something else. It just simply isn't true. And so I started a foundation called the Global Foundation for Education and Economic Mobility. It's kind of long, but it's about education, economic mobility.
The name fits.
It fits. And girl, when I first moved to Kenya, I was living at first, like in a little apartment. I had a little apartment. I call it a dormitory, girl, because, it's fully furnished. And, I catch an Uber because Ubers are a big business there. Like, it's almost like being in New York where there's only, instead of yellow cabs, there are Ubers everywhere. So it's a great sophisticated system for transportation, very reliable. So I go, I move around. I try to play golf 2 days a week. I do things to meet people, kind of get out there and become more comfortable. Well, girl, I started a foundation and I started telling my friends like you, like, hey man, this is great. You just got to come out here and at first a couple would come and they're like, Quinetha, what the? Because when you come the first 3 days, you can't even believe you're in an African country because you're looking at, in Nairobi especially, you're looking at a place like San Francisco and you're looking at an environment like Washington, D.C. where there are literally 81 consulates and embassies in Nairobi alone. The UN's international headquarters are there. So you get off the plane and you're like, oh, this is nothing like what I thought. There are no flies, Connie. Where are the flies?
Where are the flies? The flies.
Where are the children with the bellies? I don't see them. Yeah, the mosquitoes aren't. So the fear is gone. Just like as soon as you get there, you're like, okay. So then they come back. So what we've been doing over the past 4 years now, and I just closed my 11th tour, we created something called impact travel so that people like us, black and white, I have a doctor in Denver who's come saying, hey, I want to go to Africa for the first time. She's the vice president of a hospital there. And she came with 4 of her friends. And they came because I said, you should come if you want to do something good. And people are like, oh, I want to give back. I want to do a mission. And I say, wait now. First of all, nobody's coming to save anyone because no one needs to be saved. Let me say it again. There's no one in Kenya that I know or any other African country that I have visited now that need to be saved by Americans. Africans live in the richest part of the entire earth, planet. So with that, they came, we curated an amazing 14-day vacation. You come into Nairobi, you do the nightlife, you eat really well, you go do the historical, talk about the tribes of Africa. And then we fly them, we take a local commercial jet, which is just like Delta. You fly up to, in that case, we fly up to Western Kenya, near Lake Victoria, which is the border of Uganda, Kenya. And Lake Victoria is called Lake Victoria because Kenya is British. It was colonized by the British. They love Kenya. They're still there. The homes, the gates. If you've been to London, I have not. People say it reminds them of London. It's so British there. And so we take them up to Western Kenya where it's really more farmland and of course more rural, more poverty. And we spent 4 days building what we call now our Career Pathways program for kids just to get exposure to technology. Like those kids had never opened a laptop before. And we were doing a community health, like just screening. We got a donation for electronic medical records and they were just going to input information. We had to spend the first 30 minutes like, this is a laptop. This is how you turn it on. This is how you do something real simple. We spent those 3 days there. Those kids enrolled and screened 55 of their neighbors. Can you believe it? They never turned a computer on and then did it themselves. So the doctor came and she was like, what? I can come to Africa and do this and still have a good vacation and not cry the whole time and not feel burdened like, oh, I got to come and save everybody and leave my money and pray Jesus on everybody. No. That type of charity is done. That's why I'm there also. We got to stop that. Also, black people, come on. No. Africans want our money because they want to move further in life, but they don't need our pity, and they definitely don't need our pity pennies. You understand what I mean? When you come to African countries, come as a black person who wants to see your black cousin, your black auntie, and see about them. You remember your cousins come down from up north and come see about you? Or your cousin from California came to see about your grandmama, and you thought, wow, I get to see my cousins. They doing so well up there in the north. They got a good job. They got good school. Man, you used to be excited. That's what it's like when you go back to Senegal. That's what it's like when you go to Nairobi. And then you go home and say, Mama, my cousin ain't got no new gym shoes. Why she ain't got no gym shoes? Well, Mama can't afford gym shoes. Well, she can have my gym shoes. Okay, girl, go on, give her your gym shoes. We got plenty of gym shoes in here. That's how it is. It's not get off the plane like the other people. Let's see the animals. Oh, man. Let's look at the blacks. They're doing well here on the African continent. The blacks, they move well in the forest. That's how people treat us when they come to Africa.
I know.
You were there. You were in Nigeria.
But this is the part I went to London. I met the Nigerians.
Yeah.
But that is all that we've seen all these years. And I think that's why it's so important. I love that you're talking and taking people on these tours, because how would you ever know?
There's no other way.
If you don't know anybody. My dad worked for an airline since I was 5 years old. I didn't leave the country until I was 30.
Great
because
example.
My first response, whenever somebody said, you get to fly for free anywhere, I'm like, yeah. They're like, where'd you go? Vegas? Chicago?
Right.
I went to
Safe.
DC.
Safe places.
When they say, why don't you leave the country? I don't know anybody over there.
That's right.
And then the TV told me that it's flies and that it's bad. And I do have 25 cents to save 3 kids. But that's how we're programmed.
That's right. And girl, let me tell you, to go back now, we created Gei Adventures, and I also set up a Kenyan company. I have a partner in Kenya. He's a on-air sports journalist and sports editor, and also a community leader. And he's given me an instant community. Now, to your point, it has not been easy as a Black American moving to an African country for the last 3 years and just kind of, oh yeah, girl, I'm good, I got it. Everything's the same. It's not the same. Most things are very different because they don't think about themselves the way we think about ourselves. I am a little belligerent sometimes. I am more. I mean, I'm because I'm tense. I'm stressed the hell out. I'm just being honest. That's how we really are that way in comparison to other countries, other people. Yeah. But being there, having a partner to set up this travel company, and then having my nonprofit on the US side to raise awareness about Africa, to raise awareness about cultural exchange, and that cultural exchange has to be authentic. Cultural exchange has to be immersive, and it has to be with people that look like each other. How you gonna cultural exchange and the white people is the people that's getting you off the bus? That doesn't make any sense. I'm in Young's Island. I mean, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have the people that live in Young's Island greet me. I'm gonna sit down and talk to the people in Young's Island. I'm gonna sup with them. I'm gonna go play softball with them, and I'm gonna do something with them. That's what I've been doing. So now with Gei Adventures, you can come and say, girl, I got a cousin in Nairobi. Girl, who? Q. She gonna make sure when you get people, and now when people come, and I have groups anywhere from, we've had groups as small as 4 and as large as 15. And when they come, we do everything. We book your flights, we help you with your visa, we book your rooms. You don't even pay for. You don't pay for anything. When you get off the plane, it's just like being with your family. I told you, it's like being with your family, yeah. And people come now, and by the end they go, wow, Q, they're impressed by the experience. But they're more impressed that it happened on the continent.
Because who's expecting that?
Who's expecting that? I mean, we travel to the Caribbean because we know we can go and have a great time.
Yes.
Right? I'm telling people you could also come to Nairobi. We're going to take you down. When we leave Western Kenya to do our social impact, we're going to then get back on the plane. We're going to fly you down to the beach, down to a place you can go to 𝘕𝑠ℎ Island, which is me and my partner's favorite island, because the only 50 people can get on there. A little Italian guy named Andrea owns it, and he comes around with a shirt buttoned down to here, and you eat good all day, drink good. It's your private beach, We take you down to the beach. You spend time with the Italians, But then you're going to talk to the Kenyans that work there. They're going to tell you about their family. You're going to chill, because we have relationships with them. So it's not just like get off the plane, go to the resort. I love sandals. I've done that when I went to Turks and Caicos, but I don't know the people from Turks and Caicos. I don't know an actual person from Turks and Caicos, and they're probably my cousins. Because we Caribbean too, girl. We all the same Black people.
All the same.
Yes.
I won't even tell you about my Turkish experience. I have to tell you that offline, but I almost didn't make it back.
Girl, are you kidding?
Yeah, we have to
I
talk
know they love your Black stuff over
there.
It's hard being beautiful and Black, ain't it?
They was going to keep us over there. Oh man, I have so much.
I know.
Because you're my real friend.
I know.
haven't seen you in 5 years.
It's so long.
And I think what you're doing is so beautiful. One, because you've always made impact. You've always cared about the community. And with everybody that I really admire, especially my internal friends like those, and y'all can't see them, but they all in the room too. It's never about the money.
Right. Oh, girl, you made my stomach.
Like, yeah, thank you. I need it because I do want to be able to get on a plane. I do want to be able to give back to my family. I do want to do the things because everything costs. Yeah. But the core, nowhere in there is like, and I'm getting to the bag. Yeah. That's not what that's not purpose.
Connie, you know me better than most people. I know. And you know, I'm still a unicorn in that way. And I feel vulnerable and weak all the time because I'm that way. And I've tried every way I know to switch that off, to change the wiring where I can really be profit motivated. I want to cry saying it because I would be way wealthier if I always had a profit motive. Even my lawyer called me, and when the first year I was there, he said, Q, man, you're having these amazing tours, but you can't keep suffering, and you're adding more to the tours every time, so you're adding more. He said, it doesn't work that way. So obviously, we fundraise, but really these tours is an income. I mean, we're a social enterprise, so our income are the fees for the trips. So that's one small way that we keep that going. And I've been very blessed, Connie. And you know, I'm saying this in humility right now because people say, I don't have money to travel to Africa, honey. Come on. I've been a business owner since 2007, full time. Talk about like, ain't nobody sending me no check every month unless I go pick it up, okay? For me, the greatest gift I've given to myself is the freedom to travel back and forth to African countries. It's been a gift for me because it's helped me to balance the stress and the trauma that I feel at home now, especially in my work. You talk about giving back and always being in this space of change.
It's hard to help.
It's hard, you know it is. It's hard because after a while, it's burdensome to don't see things actually change. Shit's still the same as when my granny was here. It's still the same, or worse. For me, and then I got to get up every morning. I got to get up. You know, we do this racial equity coaching. You're talking to companies who want to do the right thing, and you know they don't mean it. I know they don't mean it because they telling me to my face.
I just have to do this.
I have to do this.
Yeah.
It's performative. See, and I'm not saying these things don't exist in the world, but I'm saying for us, when you think about Ashley and when I think about my nephews who are 10, my nephew is 10 years old. When he's 47, I'm 47. When he's 47, I want him to have a place that he could still be and go and feel refreshed and feel renewed and get a new, fresh image of himself. Even if he don't live there, I'm not saying go move to Africa. If you want to move to an African country, please do. But I'm saying even for him to be able to come after me and you and all of us do the work of setting this up and making sure Gei Adventures prospers and making sure that we charting my own flight next year. I keep saying it in faith. I've always said 25 was the year I was charting my own flight for people, because my people can't afford even the 6,000. They don't got 5 bands, yeah? So I'm gonna make a way for the 𝗔𝗫𝗍𝗫 people, like Black people like us, to go, and we're gonna go together and we're gonna have a good time, because also our African brothers and sisters need to see us there. Girl, when I went to Ghana, in a small village in West Ghana, a mother told me she had not seen an American since the 80s. And the American definitely wasn't Black. She said she ain't seen a Black American since they on TV, Jesse Jackson, like somebody who was on TV that was Black, that was American. And we think, oh man, everybody in Africa knows about African Americans because they watching, like you said, they're watching television. They see images of us. They don't see us in business. They don't see us in entertainment there. They don't see us in sports there. They don't see us in entrepreneurship there. No. So think about it. What do they really know about doing business with us either? So that's why I moved, Connie. And that's why I'm there half of the year. I keep my practice here, raising money, and then I go there. And my motive now is profit there only because I've hired 3 Kenyans who work for me, keeping my systems together. Lord, have mercy. I learned, I read the book. You know, I keeps up with the systems, babe. Yeah, and honestly, it's a blessing. And I feel better about myself as a person who is a veteran in philanthropy. I've raised money my whole life, but I feel better employing people. I do. I feel better employing people than giving people money. Because, you know, as Americans, we think, I can make it all go away. I'll send you a check. That guilt I feel, that need to give back, I'll make it all go away with a check for $500. Girl, you know I gave $500 in my church because we got an African mission. Yeah, girl, yeah, you know, I love Africa. See, I wear my kente cloth every time it's Black History Month. Yeah, we can do a little bit more than that. Bring your booty to the continent if it's in your heart. And that's one thing I want to say to all your podcast members, especially those of you that are entrepreneurs. Listen, not only do African entrepreneurs are they motivated by us, not only do they take our advice and run quickly, but you as an entrepreneur, there's a target market there that's waiting for us. Because y'all know that's why we live in Atlanta, because Black people do business with Black people.
Yep.
That's the truth. I can't make that up. So when you come to a prosperous African city like Nairobi, or like Dakar, or like if you go to Accra, and you find wealthy Africans who want to do business, they want to do business with what? Rich Black Americans.
And we the rich Black Americans.
And we're rich Black Americans. I mean, listen. We're so rich. And also not just rich, we're just rich Black Americans, period. I mean, my grandma would call us rich. If my granny, who was born in 1913, was sitting here right now, she said, "Gal, where you get all them rich girls from? They so pretty too."
I receive it. They receive it too.
They're beautiful. Yeah.
But even thinking of that level of travel, when the people come and they get there, what do they feel when they leave? What are some of the things you've heard?
I've heard people say, truly, I've heard more than 5 of our guests say that it was a vacation of a lifetime. People have said, I didn't anticipate that in my life I would have an experience like that. I've heard people say they've come back transformed, is a word we put on our website on Gei Adventures, because we hear that a lot. Like, man, when I came and listen, I talk a lot about black and white because I'm a child of the South. So forgive me. It's with no disrespect. But even my white guests, they by the last day they say, "Q, I know I gotta go home, but I really don't want to go home because I love the hospitality." The one thing that everyone comments on, white or black, is the hospitality that they receive, the high standards of hospitality in Kenya that you really don't get in Caribbean country. I traveled, we go everywhere. Yeah. And sometimes you'd be like, "Now I gave y'all my money and y'all treat me like a crazy."
That's Atlanta.
Come on.
Oh
also,
my gosh.
What's happening with the standards of service?
Why are you just throwing stuff at me?
I just gave you 5 Benjamin Franklins, and yet you put my money back on the counter. What's happening? Sorry, standards are high.
I know.
Our standards are high. Well, in Africa, I would say in Kenya specifically, people comment that the service standards are very high. So they come back saying, "Wow, I can't wait to come back because I know if I bring my children or I bring my friends, we'll be fine. We could, Q brought us this time, but if I came back, I'd be fine," because they find how easy it is to navigate. And the one compliment I have to share that we've received from at least 2 or 3 in the last year or so is that people feel catered to. Now, Connie, I know me and you don't have a problem being catered to.
No, I like that.
But what I found is, and this is really also, it saddens me to think sometimes that especially Black women, because 60% of our guests have been Black women, they don't expect to be celebrated or to be welcomed above and beyond. They don't expect to be catered to. I mean, they expect to get off the plane, find their way to the hotel, figure out how to get a cab to get you there, then get there and haggle with the people at the hotel. Then they expect to check in, and then the bus gonna come, and you don't know the people on the bus, just pick you up. And then when we say, no, someone's gonna greet you from the door of the plane. They're gonna take you to the place where you pick up your luggage. Then when you walk outside, we're gonna be standing right there. Your cousin's gonna be right there. Then you're gonna put you in a nice fancy Land Cruiser. We're gonna take our leather seats back to the hotel. You're gonna chill you're gonna have some champagne when you get there. And these women are like, what is it, my birthday? What is happening? They do. I mean, it's crazy. I love, because I feel like if you spent the 15 hours, 7 from Atlanta to Paris or Amsterdam, then 7 from Amsterdam to Nairobi, and if you took your family through the stress of explaining to them why you're going to Africa, because I know they ask you 50 million questions. Yeah, like, where you going? Why, girl? Then you deserve it. And I feel like you deserve it. And my team feels as though you deserve it because you are deserving. I really want you to come and relax. People like you, we just closed a 50th birthday for a woman who's she has a professional women's group. She works all the time. She's big in business. And I said, hey. She said, why did we had a photographer to meet in her room to do a video of her and her daughter getting dressed to go for a party. She said, wait now, I didn't give you money for all this. I said, well, nobody asked me for no money now. This is a part of what we're doing because we want you to remember, not just your birthday. I want you to remember that you were in Africa.
Oh my gosh. And where else are we catered to?
Like that? Nowhere. I love Paris. I've been to Paris for Christmas of all places. I've been to Vegas for Christmas of all places. when I went, I had a great time, but I couldn't recollect for you right now. Like, man, I met this guy or I met this girl and it was, woo. Yeah. But it's cool.
And it's family. So I think the welcoming
oh yeah, makes a difference.
part of it. So, and these are the kind of stories that we need to hear, because what media has fed us
Ooh, girl.
is just this side of it, not realizing it's a whole different side of the world. Two, it's a whole different world over there.
Literally a different world from us.
The culture is different. The mindset is different. And because we're so used to thinking of poverty when we think of that continent.
Yes.
That's
And you know how many beautiful black men? Come on now, let me get to the point. Can I get to the point?
You can get to the
Are
point.
we out of time? Because this is the perfect thing to close.
point.
It's the perfect thing to close out the conversation around are black men. You know, I love black men.
I know you do.
I know now you got to be careful when you say that, but you know, I do.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you about going to West Africa versus East Africa. So we can just go and get to it. If you call me and say you want to come to Africa, I'm gonna say, come one, come all. There's a reason why Ghana has cleared about 11 billion with a B dollars since the year of return was announced. Because they got some beautiful brothers out there. As soon as you get off the plane, they be like, they call you sister, but they don't mean sister like.
Oh, it's not.
It's not like me got the same mama. More like, I know we are the same color, so I know I can definitely make you my wife. So.
Oh, yeah. All right. Straight off the plane.
The brothers in Ghana are very aggressive.
Really?
Yeah, they're very. I mean, good aggressive, but you know, they're beautiful also. I mean, come on. Think of the Nigerian Afro beats artists that you love very much. Yeah, same. So I'm not gonna put down my East African brothers because they fine too, but the culture's different. Yeah, so in East Africa, to me, now this is just one black woman to another black woman.
I want to know.
The brothers are more chill because they're more grounded to community. So see, there they still not only acknowledge but operate within. You know, there's 45 tribes. You know, everybody. We're all born of one of them. However, there the men are still during every holiday, everybody like leaves Washington D.C. and it's almost like drive back down to Augusta. Like everybody goes home to their community. So the men they don't seem to seek women for what I used to call, transactional purposes.
I respect that.
They really are looking to pay attention to a woman because she's either someone that you want to introduce to your community as a wife. And also like sex is not the same thing because like here we have sex as a part of our culture. Like sex is a part of what makes our culture have its vibe. But there, sex is not a part of the culture. The woman is a part of the culture. So like, honoring the woman, what she wears, she's beautiful, she's sexy. The songs, all Afro beats are about women. But they're not saying about women in a sexual way like we do. So there, when you date a guy, you think, man, he thinks I'm attractive. He likes my body. He probably wants to sleep with me tonight. No, he does not. Because in his mind, he's thinking, this woman is coming to me to bear my child. Now, if you call your bro right now and be like, can we have sex so we can have a baby? He'd be like, now, here's the thing. I like you a lot, so... but we're not having a baby tonight.
It's not happening.
So you just, in a very plain, but you see how that would deter a lot of the sexual aggression I'm not saying people ain't trying to, have a good time, but I'm just saying in general.
And also.
Yeah. There's a different sentiment when you meet a man, he's talking. Of course, he loves your body. He wants, to hang out with you, all these things, but it's not the pressure. And for me, it was difficult for me because I'd kind of lead with that. I'm kind of, expectation is it's kind of the role we're going to end up on at some point. So I kind of lead with, I'm just being honest.
And they're like, wait a minute, American girl, Black American.
Black American lady? We don't know if that's what we're going to do because I don't want to have a baby. What are we doing? Sorry.
But no, I think even this is important.
Yeah.
Because everything is that here. That is how you relate. That is how you know if somebody likes you. This is the foundation of most relationships.
That's right.
Now, if you take that out of it, you can actually get to know somebody.
Girl, call me in about 9 months and I'll tell you exactly how well it worked out. Just saying.
We're going to put an alarm. Can somebody set a calendar reminder?
Put that thing on automated repeat.
And so we get carried away and we're going to talk more about that.
Yes, we will.
We're going to talk more about that later on. But I do want to make sure that we cover Southern Equity Collective.
Yes.
That is something you co-founded.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So I was very blessed. Back, you all remember the George Floyd massacre back in 2020.
Yes.
One of my good girlfriends, who's a white girl. I talk about white people, but my closest friends, that's what I'm saying is I love. Her name is Caroline She called together 3 of her closest colleagues, myself, a brother named Jonas 𝘠𝘺𝘃, he's from Massachusetts, but he's raising a little black boy in New Orleans, Jewish white guy, and a sister named Caroline Randall Williams, who spends some of her time doing some commentator appearances on MSNBC, but she's a professor at Vanderbilt and a beautiful, beautiful orator and poet. And she pulled us together because we all cared about the same thing, you know, racial equity and all these things, but from different perspectives. Like, I'm the philanthropic girl, so I'm like, hey, board of directors who want to get your life right around this equity thing, you know, we can help you get your bylaws rewritten, get your processes rewritten so you can actually acknowledge, you know, cultural differences and diversity within your organization. You know, Jonas, he came out of education. Caroline's a communication strategist, worked for the Department of State for many years. So we kind of came together with our specific tools, all coming to, at this time, be a tool for some of Caroline's friends who are running big companies, Fortune 500 companies, who said, what can we do? Our answer at SEQ is, you're not going to do anything because equity is both a process and an outcome. Yeah. So if a company is looking to achieve equity or equitable practices, he must first take the organization through a process in order to achieve that said outcome. So that's what our firm has been doing. And because we're a management consulting firm, girl, you know, sometimes companies call us, you know, when there's this, you know, I call emphatic leader who says, we got to do the right thing. You know, we have a misrepresentation of women in leadership. We have a misrepresentation of Blacks and other minorities in decision-making roles. We should do the right thing. What are we going to do? Let's hire a consultant. That's us. We come in, we do focus groups, we help them figure it out. We do. Sometimes we even evaluate for them, do an assessment. But then, and most times, when we get a phone call, it's because the house is on fire and there's an employee. Usually, I would give the demographic, but anyway, there's someone who's whistling, who's blowing a proverbial whistle or an idiomatic whistle, and they're saying, somebody better come in here and get it right. And so then they call us and say, whoa, 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 let's help to mitigate. So, you know, I've enjoyed the work of SEQ, Southern Equity Collective, we call ourselves SEQ, because it's giving me exposure, as my grandmama used to say, into high places of exposure, where I better understand if a university says that they're, you know, hiring a new VP of diversity. So, you know, I know what that means now. Yeah, when you look at the strategic plan that they're writing for Saks, and you have to talk about those things and what you're actually going to do. So, again, Connie, that's why I run to Kenya. SEQ and the work that we're doing. We love it, we're proud of it, but we hope it goes away. I mean, honestly, like, I hope that, you know, there's a world in which we don't have to, but to be honest, living in Africa now, in African countries, I find that there's more of a need for cultural competency between Black people living on the continent and Black people living in America more than ever. See, we need a class with each other, because when we see each other, there's something that goes through our minds that's not right. Yeah, we look at each other and we think we're the same, so we think low of each other. You see a person who's not like us and you think, oh, this person must be here. We got to change that. Yeah. And then even Black Americans coming to African countries, we need to be more equitable in our approach, more inclusive, not coming with the I'm American, I have all the answers, I know the way this works. We do not know the way things work in African countries. Let me try one more time.
Get 'em.
We even had a Black president in the United States, and he himself is Kenyan, and we still do not know how things work in African countries. So mind your business. That's what I want to say to Black people also. Black people who are being philanthropic in Africa, let's mind our business. This is what you tell people. The way you mind your business in Africa is you be intentional and have a plan. If you really want to move to the continent, if you really want to take your family, mind your business. Don't go thinking you're going to save somebody to do something. Yeah, act like you're moving to New York City. Act like you're moving to Atlanta. Act like you're moving to an all-Black city. You're trying to figure some stuff out. Do that. Go find somebody to get to know. Again, I mentioned golf because for me, it's a social opener. Yeah, I can go and play. People talk to you, you know. People that, you know, got stuff to do be out there. You know, they ask you questions. And for me, the number one question people ask me is, are you Kenyan? The first thing I do, and honest to God, if I've met 100 people, 95 of them I've had to argue that I'm not African. I mean, like, for real, like, they say, oh, so your parents moved you to the US, you went to school there. I'm from there. Like mama there, daddy, born, everybody. They don't believe, they think we're African. Once you get past the fact that you tell them, no, I'm definitely American, then we spend our time with them getting to know what a real American is like, how we really talk. So my point in mentioning that is the work that we do at SCQ around equity, inclusion, and diversity. We are in Africa now because the need is also there for us to advise companies, advise organizations, advise municipalities who want to do business with Black Americans, because it's not the same.
You're so brilliant. The work you're doing is beyond
we thank
necessary.
God.
It is a bless. It is genuinely a blessing, because we would never have these conversations. Who would ever come back and tell us the stories if it was not for you and what you've built? That makes me so happy. I want you to, as we're closing, I want you to give us something that you wish we all knew when it came to living on the continent of Africa.
I wish that everyone knew. I wish everyone knew the peace. I was going to say the ease, but it's only easy because I'm making it easy. But I wish everyone knew the peace, how peaceful it is when I sit in my apartment and the birds, the largest diversity of birds are there in East Africa, the largest diversity of many animals. If you love outdoors, I just wish they knew how beautiful and peaceful it just is. And I wish that we knew how peaceful that we could be with each other. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I think that as Black Americans, we've forgotten, even though we say we're a community, we've forgotten what it is to be on each other. Remember, we used to sleep together in the bed? We used to be in the bed together, get up in the morning.
Big old slumber party.
Go eat, everybody go to this corner, have a block party. Somebody cussing, you don't care. This person drunk, you don't care. We all together. It's my people. We from the hood together. We really was down for each other. We really, 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 really. And we've forgotten that. See, now those of us that can afford to buy our kids Teslas and send our kids to Xavier and Harvard, we really don't really mess fucking them girls down, and girls still living in the hood, girls out here trying to do their thing for their kids. We really ain't talking the same language. So then you talk about coming to Africa, that's a whole nother dimension. So I want us to know that we can still have peace between each other. We can still be that way. Yeah. Here, they've made it, this system has made it where it's not easy for us to be at peace for each other. We supposed to be at odds. Republican, Democrat, this side of town, conservative, not. Rich, poor, all that. We still Black people. When you turn off all these TVs and somebody come walking through this town, they gonna see Black people. That's all they gonna say is was that a Black African? Was it a Caribbean African? Was it I don't know, what kind of Black person? No, they gonna say a lot of Black people in Atlanta.
Yep.
And they got a Black mayor too, which I love talking about that when I'm, yes, girl. Thank you for the time though, to say that. Thank you for the space and the peace. Like I said, we peaceful with each other. I've known you. I'm proud of what you're doing. And I'm proud of what you're doing to make us, again, we came from proverbially nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
And we started our business in the same year, 2007.
Same year.
So 17 years.
17 years.
We've been helping people.
Helping people. And there is even when our lifetime will show some benefits, it'll be Ashley's children's lifetime that will look back and say, damn, man, my mama or my grandma, this woman named Connie S. Connie S. Yeah, they used to call her Systems. You know what? They used to think systems-based. Really? Man, that television show that's an internationally syndicated show, it started in Atlanta? By Connie? My grandmama started that?
I received it.
Wow. And somebody in Dakar, Senegal will say, what? There was a time where people wouldn't come in here all the time. There wasn't a direct flight from Atlanta to Dakar? There wasn't a direct flight from New York City to Morocco? When? I thought it was always a direct flight from Nairobi to Nevada. I didn't know that because our kids are gonna look like, I didn't know we didn't all live in the same place. The only place we could eat is Africa. It's the most abundant place in the world. I thought we were always living here. I thought my mom always vacationed in Cameroon. Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. And it's gonna be us to blame. So thank you, sister.
Thank you. I receive it. Good job. Well, thank you so much, Quinetha. I love you. I appreciate you. This has been an awesome episode of Life with Systems. I am Connie S. and I love y'all. Bye.